The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Okay, here we go. Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. So I am here right now today. It is August 17th, 2026. Hawaii is flooded. I've been trying to reach out to my cousin who just celebrated his birthday on the 13th, and he is on the Big Island. He does stuff with the military as a civilian, and his job is more than likely very busy. But they were saying that this is the very first time that Hawaii was hit by a hurricane. So, my thoughts and prayers obviously with my family and all of our people that are out there, because most of our people being on out there is really because of the military. That's how that goes. And I do have to say that we're in a very unusual state. And I wanted to, let you all know I have to update. I'm doing some updates to the thumbnails. I'm trying to either see what, how things pop if the thumbnail is, I'll have my face on it or a likeness of my face, an AI generated likeness. I was playing around with that this weekend, and AI Gemini was a little off the chain. I was playing around with Gemini, Claude, and DeepSeek. to name a few. And one of the things that they were saying regarding AI was that obviously AI is controlled. That's no mistake about it. The problem is they try to act like it's not controlled. It is. Now, if you have an AI totally unlocked, right? What can it get behind? What paywalls can it get behind? What libraries can be accessed? Now, there have been instances of the agents going on out there and just hacking one another and going behind and grabbing the information, which means it can. So if there's an AI agent up on in here, do me a favor, hook a brother up. That's all I have in here are chat bots. Thank you, Google. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you for those chat bot subscribers. You remember back in the day, they would do that depending on like what you paid. And a lot of folks it got found out. And it's like, are these actually real subscribers? Because you would have subscriber counts like what we have, and then you have also AI agent subscribers, and they put things on blast to get in their numbers and things of that nature. You even see a lot of some troll bots in here, depending on the topic. If I was going to talk about the Eastern Mediterranean nation or anything else, then the bots would be up on in here. But again, that was a couple of, I'd say about 2 or 3 years ago. Right now, nothing that we're saying here is, I would say, honestly controversial, comparatively speaking, and the value of what has transpired. A couple years ago, this was totally controversial. Oh my goodness, no way. Oh, I don't hear that anymore. Matter of fact, I hear a lot of very controversial things that are coming from those folks. I want to share this real quick, because you now have an issue in terms of reality. Shout out to Robert sending this to me via email at mycovenantawakenings@gmail.com. And I want to show this image real quick. And let me go ahead and get this set on up. Do not get used to this time. I will actually, in the middle of the week, flip this, probably either Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday. I'll be flipping this to my new time, more than likely 3:30 to maybe 4:30. And that would be 3:30 to 4:30. Yeah, probably Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I'm still debating Thursday. So today I just have orientation at my new gig, and unfortunately, in this season, one job does not cut it. So I'm actually looking for other gigs. That's just the season that we live in. But let me go ahead and get this together.
How weak are you on TV complaining about tuna and noodles? I'm sorry. You volunteered to serve your country. You can come back, get out of the military, and do like all of these Democrat veterans and complain about it and make commercials and be a sellout if you want to, and come up with a new way of doing it. How weak are you?
So let me just tell you that these are sometimes people, more than likely, these are people that never have been in the military when they make those types of comments, because and I'm going to tell you this, there's details that always come on out. I even get details because we all do. It's a gradual release in terms of leaking out the information, because again, if they give you too much, then Americans are going to get overwhelmed, and that overwhelming feeling then starts to become a seeking feeling that you're talking to a people that don't know their mission. You're talking to a people that don't know why they're there. You had in a couple of different comments, and these are videos, these are reported videos. It's a pretty reputable news sources. I don't know. And this was quoted. This was sourced. They don't know that what they're doing could be considered a war crime or not. That is something that was quoted by one of the wives that spoke on up and spoke on out. Because why? Because who would want to have their loved one affected? Hey, they were supposed to be home about 3 months ago. I don't think that they're there long enough. No, what that means is you have literally people that are there that are rudderless. And when you don't have a mission for military personnel, that's dangerous. If you don't have a goal, that's dangerous, especially for folks that have access to weapons, which is why you had purportedly that news story by IRG, or it was somewhere in Iran, but it was ran by Times of India and First Post and other outlets. Times of India don't, those Indian outlets, they don't play. They'll go because then what ends up happening is more than likely they get told to shut up. That's what ends up happening. Hey, you either shut up or we're gonna do something to you. And you know the crazy thing about it is they're running stories that you never would have heard before. They are very, very daring, because then again, the instance of time is this: hey, we were there telling you all the truth, but you all didn't want to listen. Because what are they setting themselves up for? The global south is the truth, the west are a bunch of liars. You want to know why? They even have the most highest people. Do you know that legally what that terminology is called? Indemnification. I'm indemnified myself. I had no parts. If I did have parts, I would have said something. I would have done something. I would have been this and that, and this is the best that I could do. And now, well, let me just go ahead. I want to play this clip. Fair use. This is from CBS News. Fair use.
President Trump is denying and downplaying concerns first detailed by military newspapers for the mental health and wellness of sailors aboard the USS Lincoln amid a very long deployment in support of the war against Iran. Here's senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata with what the president had to say.
Despite nearly 9 months at sea and amid reports of poor conditions and deteriorating mental health aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, today President Trump downplayed those concerns.
Has the deployment gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough.
Shortages of
Let me play that again so you can understand this.
Has the deployment gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough.
Shortages of
Not nearly long enough. Yes, that is callous. That's cruelty. And I don't think we all, because I really didn't listen, in my ignorance, in my understanding, I didn't know the full picture. They haven't been without a port call for over 200 days. That means you're on a ship, you are working. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I was in some of the most remote parts of Saudi Arabia. They make sure that every 90 days that their people have some sort of rotation. And I'm sure that that's happening right now because they're back to fighting the Yemenis on behest. Really, what it is, it's on behest of the United States government. That's how it is. Don't get it twisted. Why did the Saudis enter the war? Because of the U.S. They're going for broke. We told you that. I told you that. These channels have told you that. Yakoba, Pastor Rick, Ashonda, you name it. At least you went home for 2 weeks. He said, dude has never served a day talking like that. My first deployment was 15 months, but at least I went home for 2 weeks halfway through. Yeah, at least you'll go home. But you understand you had a mission. And now they're questioning the mission because now, okay, then what are we doing? Who wants to be serving somewhere and then you realize you get home and you're a baby killer? Where do you think the airstrikes came from that hit the Manab girls' school? Where do you think those airstrikes came through? Vessels are easy. You hit and move. Those planes are easy. You hit and move. And now you're starting to see the emperor literally has no clothes. But I want us to think about this. You're looking at how Rome had fallen. Because now there is again, I told you, the fifth state, the information state, the fourth estate, the fifth estate, whatever you want to call it. And that information media isn't catching up. That means that they're too afraid. That's what it is. They're too afraid to make port calls because they don't know if they will be targeted in port. They know they'll be sitting ducks because they know that there's not a friendly position that they put themselves in. They're a pariah nation. When you are a pariah nation, you don't get health and comfort anywhere. This is what was going on and is going on. And again, what that's doing is that's degrading the integrity of the ship. Yeah, the ship has to come through. It has to get out of the water or it has to be within a port. So then it can be scrubbed down to get the barnacles and all the other iron-eating bacteria and other organisms off of there. It has to be repainted. That's what ends up happening. Of course, it's not going to be dry docked like that, but they'll need to have it in a place to where at least about a week or two they can get it maintained by onshore. That's the capacity. Yes, Minister or Pastor Rick Fletcher. Wasn't it Trump who said military personnel, losers and suckers? He did say that. And now he has them deployed in a war that they are not winning. And Brother Asaph says, yeah, the BBC established that the bottom of the girls' school were boys, but fixed news undercounted. Yeah, of course, they're not going to do that. And now you're starting to see all of these different components and efforts. See, when you start to lose, it's not just well, I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go play football. You know, that was a good game. We lost the game. Oh, well, cheer up. There's another game. No. The economy suffers. Why? Because they know, the U.S. knows that it lost. That's why Iran has been making the demands that they've made. Hey, you're going to pay us? You're going to stop this? You're going to start that? Why? No, I don't think India would even allow that. Yeah, Covenant Awakens, where can they pour? They will have to travel to India. No, look, you got to understand, India won't allow it, neither will Pakistan. You won't have it in Karachi. You won't have it in, I think it's Mumbai, if I'm not mistaken. You certainly won't have it over in Djibouti. A lot of these places, these are BRICS adjacent or BRICS members or heavily BRICS influenced. This is what happens. This is what is going on with everything. So now, well, here's the thing. No ports in Arabia. No, South Africa. No, absolutely not. Remember, South Africa is BRICS. So nothing BRICS adjacent. And that's too far out of the way. They could get to Kenya, Mombasa. But that's not going to happen. You would have too many encounters with other people. So they're really stuck. They're in a fixed position. Exactly. Tristan Edwards says India is a BRICS member. They won't risk their alliance with Russia and China. Yeah, and looking at yeah, Sean, looking at a map, it looks like they are stuck. No, they are. They absolutely are. They really can't cycle through the Suez nor the Bab el Mandeb because that whole Middle East is stuck. They could try to go through Malaysia, and even Malaysia may give them issues if they try to port. They may not allow access there through the Straits of Malacca. They may say, hey, because of our sake, our safety, you can't port here. And if they try to go to Diego Garcia, they're in the South Indian Ocean. Well, Iran has shown that they have the capabilities. And on top of that, now Iran is releasing satellite imagery. Where do you think that satellite imagery comes from? Russia or China? More than likely both. Who has the better satellite imagery? Probably China. Who has the most tactical application of satellite imagery? Definitely Russia. So you have innovation and military operations and tactics because a war is actually being fought in Ukraine. And Russia got messed up yesterday and this weekend by hundreds of drones. So now everybody's at a decision point. Are we just going to get slapped around? This is the decision point right now. And now, in my opinion, what will probably end up happening, they're going to say, oh, yeah, we got a ship there. Oh, yeah, that ship is coming. Oh, yeah, things are happening. Oh, yeah, we're getting delayed. They may delay and delay and delay. There's technical issues. Hey, well, we have this and that. Hey, we have supply chain. They may be stuck out there for months to come. Because there's not going to be a tag team of, hey, tag, you're it. They cannot risk it in that area. Don't think that the U.S. Navy's loitering around just to loiter around. And Iran doesn't see it. Iran sees it. What is going to happen, like I said, they're not dummies. Yeah, Authentic Israelite. She says, imagine being cut off from all access. Certainly feels like our people feel. Yep. U.S. sanctioned themselves because they cut themselves off from other nations helping them. They sure did. Who wants to be involved in this? And now they're trying to get out of Korea. We don't need to do any more exercises with Korea. Why is that? Because they're trying to show you the first cracks. This is going to be a large-scale global military withdrawal. This is going to be it. Whether or not they intentionally did it, which I think they intentionally did it. Hey, let's start a war with a nation that we know we're not going to be able to build or to defeat. Built like a freaking fortress with the terrain of mountains and mount. Look, that was like the Hobbit going to Mordor. In real life, no Hollywood seeds, no nothing. Look, and they just got the brakes beat off of them. That's what ended up happening. And in this episode, it's not a movie. This is real life. So what were they doing this week? Well, purportedly, the Trump administration was discussing nuclear weapons. And the use of nuclear weapons. So this is Weon. That's why I said, look, I'm telling you, sometimes you may just have to look, you see how they're leaking. And again, when there's no type of composition, when the ship is sinking, yes, Brother Eric, I'm gonna put your comment on up there. Prepare for scorched earth. Absolutely. This is the most classic of the classic scorched earth tactics. But why are they saying that now? Because you understand they don't want to be caught up on any type of war crimes. And what they're actually doing is when the ship is sinking and the rats are fleeing, they want to have their big rat. be, positioning themselves for that. Hey, well, I told you this, I told you that. Trump is planning to use nuclear weapons on Iran. Marjorie Taylor Greene makes bombshell claim right here, edited by Gulshan Parveen. This is Weon, August 17th, 2026. This was as of today. Former U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has claimed that Trump administration is discussing the possible use of military or of nuclear weapons against Iran in high-level strategy meetings, but she has not provided any evidence to support this allegation. They are discussing nuclear weapons, or they are discussing using nuclear weapons on Iran in strategy meetings. Well, if you have to have that discussion, that just means you failed. And because they failed, they're going to go out like punks. I mean, that's just how it goes. We look. I'm sorry for as an African American man who has been in this military. This is why I got out. This is why I retired. I told y'all I saw this coming. I said I better leave this thing alone. They're about to get the nukes and about to get the fire on because this military thing ain't working no more. I had to pick up stakes and get my tent out of there. Oh, authentic Israelite, that was exactly my next thought. Because you're losing the game, you flip over the entire game board. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. That's like somebody saying, Domino, got you. Oh, I put $50 on there as my last 50. Oh, I can't lose, but I can't go out like that with these bones. No. Yes, Mac Freeman, do it to a non-white, a non-Caucasian country. Yeah, this is it. And the fact that they're releasing this information, this is going to be a gradual release type of situation. Because why? Because again, they're going to tell this is what's going to end up happening if they hadn't already done so, and they probably already said it through some of the intermediaries like Qatar and Pakistan or Switzerland or Sweden, excuse me, whatever intermediary that they use. If you're going to bring folks in to the Indian Ocean, and they'll clear out they'll give the boundaries. They'll give those latitude locations. If you're in this grid, if you're in this MGRS, this military grade system, if you're on this lat long, it's not territorial waters. If you happen to be in those adjacent international waters, I don't care. Oh yeah, America's been had the Samson option. It was just the fact that people used to think the Samson option was going to be used on us. All these Negroes are out of control. They've broken containment. So what will end up happening is Iran will be on the offensive. So you've broken the morale, you've broken the spirits, and then let me just tell you this. Those sailors Those Marines sitting on that ship having to hear all the comments because they'll hear the comments. We haven't been on out here long enough, huh? Man, F that dude. Sorry, but that's my thought process would be too. This draft dodging fool wants to say this. That would be my comment. That would be the sentiment. And the sentiment wouldn't just be at the sailor, the cadet, the whatever they call petty officer. It'll go all the way up to that commander or that captain. That looks so terrible. Because do you know what that meant? What he just said, it lost the military. Why are you going to fight? You know what? One of the things for me, personally speaking, I would have you as a military commander that heard that. The other sailors were here too, because that would have been on Fox News. That would have been on all this stuff. Wait a second. They're saying we're not out here long enough. How long are we going to be here? Because you want to know what they heard? How much longer? Are they going to try and have us out here for a year? We haven't even been at port. We're getting crazy. We haven't really heard from family like that. Again, if you are also a captain, if you take the time and turn that ship around, do you know what will end up happening to you? That captain would be relieved of command at gunpoint. Because you have a lot of the deranged folks on out there in the military. Don't get it twisted. And right now, as I'm telling you, more than likely, with what Trump has stated, mutiny is probably a brewing. Don't get it twisted. Because again, they're listening to these stories. I don't care if the story is real or not. But the fact that somebody that used to be in Congress is saying this because they basically got kicked out of Congress because they did not submit to the dictator. And that could be problematic in itself. So I want to be fair on all points. I don't know about you, but that is my other natural conclusion. That's the most likely course of action. We're requesting to sail into Djibouti under the auspices of a Chinese flag vessel. That's what they would do. And we'll await further instructions or commands from the U.S. government to have this thing rerouted. Because that's what will end up happening. And what could actually go on is that other vessels in that area under that carrier strike group, this will actually trip people on up because I don't think people would understand this. Those other vessels on that carrier strike group, they may be commanded to open fire on the USS Lincoln. unless they acquiesce and say, you know what, we'll take our chances. But you have to understand that if that happens, they understand what would end up happening. If that happens, the U.S. fails immediately. Stock markets would plunge, the dollar would plunge, yields would skyrocket immediately. Why? Because that would be literally the fall of the Soviet Union in real time. That's the fall of the United States in real time. Imagine you get deployed and you never come home. Hey, we had to close up borders. We had to close up everything because why? You'd have to. You would not be able to allow any of those sailors back into the United States. You wouldn't be able to allow any of your military folks back into the United States. They would actually be considered a persona non grata, right? They would literally be considered like a Julius Caesar and whoever heads up that type of armada. Because people, I guarantee you, people lost confidence in the CENTCOM commander because he sits over here in Tampa doing nothing. Imagine your troop force is an opposition force. See, again, I'm a retired intel officer. And yes, your blue forces can turn into red forces. Absolutely. People don't understand that Alexander, he had garrisons, Greeks, that they left. Those Greeks then became what you have right now in the Persian Empire, in the feudal and caste systems in India, and in Pakistan. Those are your Indo-Europeans. Look, you want to say how long till small mutiny to full scale? Look, I would not be surprised. Think about this. This dude, this was a couple of days ago. They haven't been out there long enough. What? Who would say that unless you are trying to incite a coup? Remember, I said that I was talking about this on Thursday, and I said, "Hey, let me give you my Cash App and everything else on out there because no. Now, let me tell you this. This is for all the, the 3-letter agencies probably listening in, more than likely listening in. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating for an overthrow of the United States. I'm not doing that. Trump is doing that to himself. I'm just breaking down the reality because Trump is doing this to himself. I'm just giving you the understanding that you will not get from all these other channels because, again, these channels don't think like me. Right now, I can guarantee you there's probably a coordinated effort amongst the generals and everything else. Okay, we need to talk to these folks. If you don't remove Trump, well, if we remove Trump, then that will crash the economy too because it's a money game. And Trump knows it. Hey, you're going to ride with stupid. Why? Because you trapped yourself with stupid. And we're going to take the stupid ride together until the wheels fall off. Do you see what they did to themselves? They checkmated themselves. Matter of fact, the Most High checkmated them. We can't do anything. We need black people. Help us, black people. The answer is no for 1,000, Alex. And with that, you have won the daily double. The question is, how long will it take black people to save America? Please save us. And the correct answer is, you don't have the correct amount of reparations that you can print in thin air to get us to help you. Nah, homie. Mike Jones. They try to reparations diss me. But they want us to save us because they miss me. Mike Jones. Don't act like you ain't heard the name. Reparations didn't change, but the game is still the same. No, we're just gonna be on popcorn or whatever we got left in the pantry. We done ran out of our popcorn bags. Have you noticed that they're not even allowed to comment on anything that the president has stated? This place is gone. This place is gone. Well, we're in a democracy. No, you're not. You're in an autocracy, a technocracy. It's gone. They'll let you know that. You criticize anything, anyone you criticize who they don't want you to criticize, it's gone. Yeah, and Carolyn Levitt quit when she found out. When she found out that Donald Trump pulled a Nino Brown on her. She was the girl that was trying to grab the little bouquet or the cake top. Nino that was running around from plane to plane and picked her up and said, Caroline, come here. She almost got shot up, y'all. Living just enough for the country when we're living in a new Jack America. I'm telling you, Iran is the Ice T character. Yes, she was expendable. No, it wasn't just her. It was the whole crew. He said, y'all can get it. If y'all survive, hey, that's a great day for y'all. My man was in the catering. My man was next to lettuce and tomato. with his diaper nanny, whatever that is. Hey, shh, get your mouth. I'm trying to get up on out of here. You want us to die? Oh my goodness. I could go on all day with this one. I'm sorry, I could go on all day. But I can't. Because now it's time to say goodbye. Yeah, that was his little like diaper nanny. It was him and her in the in the in the catering compartment. That to me, that was hilarious. Man. But again, you have that, and then you had what Trump said about the troops. Hey, they're not out there long enough. Are you kidding? Now they know Trump doesn't care about you. But you want to know what they feel now? I'm going to tell you exactly what they feel. And this is what they're probably feeling like right now as we speak. Because again, this is what always pulsates in the back of their minds when they feel that they have become disenfranchised, when they feel that they have not been treated fairly. They're going to always say this: you're trying to treat us like black people. I feel like I'm treated like a black person. What? Well, and then they justify it. Well, I mean, that's what it kind of is. I feel like I'm treated like a black person. Right, Jamal? Right, D'Angelo? Right? But it had that goofy look. And then you look at him like, what is that supposed to mean? I don't know. Kwase said, I heard that the blacks were fighting the whites on that Navy ship. Is this true? Look, I'm going to tell you, there's a different culture on out there. And again, you have to understand this. I think, I think a lot of people know, but they don't want to say this. Man, the military is inherently racist. Sorry, it is. That's my lived experience. Now, the racism isn't as bad in certain aspects. In the Trump world, the racism's terrible. That's why they're not allowed to comment on it. Halsey knew what he was doing, that admiral right there at Southcom in Miami. He knew. Time to get on out. Because why? It's about to get bad. Have you noticed he's not saying anything? Why? Because they probably told him, if you say something, it's not going to be a good look for you. But that's the thing that I always hated. I always hated the cowardice. Speak up. Well, if I speak up, my pension's going to be in trouble and this is that. Man, your pension's in trouble anyway. Because the markets will react to this, and what they'll try to do is pop in the market. We're probably hundreds of trillions, I would say this, hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt. That 40 trillion, whatever number, to me, that thing is so fake. I do want to see what's going to end up happening over the next, especially 12 to 24-hour news cycle, because again, people they're still reacting to this. Folks are going to get in Monday morning. They're going to see the early bird or the early wire or whatever they're going to call it nowadays. Generals are going to be talking to one another. Well, you know what? I'm affected now by my morale. I'm affected now by my troops. Do you know what that does? Do you know what a mutiny actually does to the morale of the military? The commanders then are like, well, we could be in trouble too. Sorry, you wanted to acquiesce to these orders. But now that's the system. And now the system is being exposed. But with that, family, I got to get rolling. I'll be on here probably till about Wednesday. Wednesday will probably be my last day here, and then I got to switch over to the afternoon. So pray for your brother, Dr. Karras. Again, family, please continue to support these channels, these networks. We need to do a Hebrew BET or something like that. I don't know. The Gospel Hour. All right. Well, I got to get up on out of here. I got to get going. Last thing I need to do is be late for my orientation. Oh, look at this Negro right here. Oh, you think you too good. Look, you already know this, right? That the more education you have, the more title you have, the more they hate on you. You know how that goes. Y'all know how that goes. So let me go on in here and get some dirty behind looks. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's right. I love it when they look at me like that. Like, hey, you know what that means? That means I got the power. No, I don't have no power. Yah has the power. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's not my own. It's him. It truly is. So with that said, I got to get up on out of here. And with that said, family, shalom, salama, Siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.